welcome to my channel where every day is Halloween. I am Chelsea, and here we talk about horror movies, paranormal stories, all whilst I do my makeup. If you would, please subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate it. So today will be a paranormal video story time for you guys. This is, I have a few like paranormal stories from throughout my life that I have kind of sitting here on the back burner that I want to kind of slowly release throughout my channel. So today I want to tell you about one of them while I do my makeup. My ring light is like heavily in my glasses. You know what, I saw this ring light, I just bought this, so like I don't want to buy it, and I don't know who it's through or from or whatever, but I saw this one on TikTok and it's shaped as a heart, so that in like your glasses, instead of being a circle, would be hearts, and I thought that was the cutest thing ever, and I love it so much. But like I said, I just bought this, so like, but I don't know, maybe someday I'll have little hearts in my glasses for my ring light. So cute. Anyway, okay, move these bad boys, put our hair back, you know, same old, same old. All right, I think today I'm gonna do kind of like a cutesy, like bubblegum look. I don't know what that means, but that's kind of what I'm getting my vibes right now. Like, I'm just thinking in my head, like, what do I want to do on my face today? I'm thinking bubblegum, cute. I think it has something to do with my Animal Crossing character. I want to put a picture here of like my character. She's so stupid cute, and I don't know what it's gonna look like because I think I have to like physically take like a screenshot of my TV. I don't know, but I'm gonna put it here because she's so cute. Animal Crossing has like the cutest freaking outfits, and she has like very gothic cute clothes, and then she has very like bubblegum kawaii clothes. Oh, I love it so much. That's what like my main thing on there is, just like finding the cutest outfits. I love Animal Crossing. Thank you for listening to all that. All right, let's get into this video. So we're doing some makeup and we're talking about some paranormal stories. All right, so start with some NYX primer. Smells so good. So I actually got a new foundation. This is Juvia's Place. See, this right here is where my camera will hopefully do a better job than this does. And this is shade Bali. It's a little, it's about, I don't know, I want to say it's like perfect in this lighting, but I would say when I go like downstairs into just like my bathroom mirror without like a ring light, it does seem a little bit darker than it does up here. So I never know what shades to get, and I don't like to like waste money, but I think, but it's pretty good matching, whatever. So we're gonna put this on, and yeah, brush. A brush. You don't need very much, and this stuff is like, it's full coverage, but it's really lightweight. It's really nice. I've used it once before in my TikToks, actually. Now we got the foundation on. Let me start out with, okay, so these are stories from when I was really young. Like, my mom told me these stories, and it's just so crazy. And like I've said in my past paranormal videos, if you haven't seen them yet, you go watch them. My parents in general, especially when I was younger, were not really religious at all. And not that there's anything wrong with being religious, not being religious, whatever, they're smart. And so that's always just been kind of fascinating to me. Like, my mom does not believe in supernatural. She just doesn't believe like in any of that stuff like exists, whatever. There's no such thing as a ghost, yada yada yada. So when I was younger, apparently I was extremely close to my grandmother, like so close to her. She was like my favorite person in the world, and I stayed with her all the time. Like, she literally lived, so we lived in a house where it was like a house, and then it had like a little connecting like apartment house with it, but it was connected, but you had to walk around and the door was outside. So you would go in our house, and we had like 2-3 bedrooms, regular size house, and then you would walk just like, I think we had like, I'm sure there was a sidewalk like this too, but both of them went out to like driveways, and so you could walk over to her place, and then you could go into her, and it was like a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment kind of attached, and that's where she lived. And she passed away when I was like 6, I want to say 6, and I was like very distraught because like I loved her so much, you know, we all did, and she's an amazing, great woman. We love her so much. And so it was probably like, I want to say a few months later, And like I said, my mom told me this story because I was only like 6. I don't remember any of it. I just know of her telling me about this like my whole life. Like she's always told me about this story, and it's so crazy. And it's funny that she would share this with me because she like doesn't believe in ghosts, but it's just one of those things like, okay. But also I was a kid, so it could have been my imagination because she passed away. Maybe I didn't want to, you know, grieve or believe it, whatever. So let me throw in this. So when I was like 6, my grandmother had just passed away. We were really close. And my mom, I was in my bedroom, and my mom was in the kitchen. And she heard me with like a ball, like I don't know what kind of ball it was, some kind of ball in the house. And I was throwing it up against the wall. And it must have been not like a big basketball or anything. Again, I was 6. It was probably like one of those little like plastic, you know, balls full of air. And she heard me and she's like, Chelsea, please like stop throwing that up against the wall because like it's my wall. Like quit doing that, you know. And I'm like, and I was a pretty good kid too. Like I usually didn't do stuff that like my parents were like, don't do this, da da da. So I wouldn't do it, you know. But I was like, I'm playing with grandma. And my mom's like, what? And she said she looked in, and I was obviously throwing the ball against the wall, but she looked in and there was a rocking chair in there because I like being rocked whenever I was a kid. There was a rocking chair in there, and the rocking chair was literally moving back and forth, and I was sitting across the room throwing a ball against the ball. Throwing a ball against the wall, and the rocking chair in there was literally moving back and forth by itself. And I'm like, my mom tells me these stories because there's 2 here, and she doesn't believe in ghosts. And I'm like, what? Like, that's so crazy. I don't understand. And I would say I was very skeptical for years too. And only like very recently, in like the last like, I guess not really recently, I guess as a teenager and on, you know, when you kind of start thinking for yourself and da-da-da, I started to think like, well, you might not believe in ghosts, but I do. Which is fine. She doesn't care. I mean, she's like, cool, you do. I just don't. I'm like, okay, cool. You know. And also, I'm using the same brush again because my brush is actually cleaned, and my, what is this? My concealer brush has like black on it from something else. It's from my last makeup look. I need to wash my brushes. I should have done that this week to prepare for this weekend, but I honestly just didn't think about it. This week has been literally crazy, like so freaking crazy. So I always thought that was so crazy. So literally she comes in, I'm throwing a ball against the wall. I'm like, oh, I'm playing with grandma, who literally passed away like a few months earlier, maybe even a year earlier. It could have been a few months to a year earlier. And the rocking chair in the bedroom is just moving back and forth. Like, no windows open. Like, I'm just in a house, like a regular house in a regular town. So crazy. And I would say that's like one of my favorite, like, ghost stories and just kind of stories in general. Because me and my grandma were so close, love her so much. And, and I don't know. I don't really know what I believe in. Like, I believe that there's some kind of, like, spiritual world out there, but I think it's based more into like science. Like I don't believe, which if you, whatever you believe, so good for you, so cool. I like think that religion and everything has a place in this world, honestly, for people, for certain things. But I do think it's all based in science. Like I think it's just science that we just haven't learned yet. You know what I mean? That we don't understand yet. Like even like magic and life and the energy. Like I think everything is just energy. Like even ghosts, like maybe it's energy of like past people that used to live, like used to be alive here. Like maybe it's just your energy. Like if people are like, you know, just evil people, or maybe you just had a lot of trauma in your life, that's literally just your energy. So when people are like haunted and stuff, it's just like this negative energy. And maybe that the soul of that person is trapped here. Maybe, I don't know. Like I think like eventually this will be able to explain this stuff more rationally through science, but as of now it's spirituality and kind of like a pseudoscience, you know what I mean? That's just my guess. Who am I? I don't know anything. I love this foundation. It is just so nice. I could have probably went like 1 shade lighter, but whatever. I mean, it's not like too bad though. Like it matches, it's fine. Looks good. It just covers like all your blemishes. I love it so much. Love it so much. There's one thing I want to talk about on here. And I think I have enough time because I've already gotten through one story. The short stories, they're all short. You know. smells like cotton candy and I love it. So my second story is also when I was younger, same house. I won't say like where it was, so I don't want to give away. I mean, I tell everyone I live in Ohio, but I don't like giving away too much, even though most people that watch this, well, some people that watch this probably know me in real life, so they know, but whatever. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Sorry about it. Okay. So we're gonna do some contour here. Second story is, and these little like floaties, I think this is from the powder I just used. Because if you've seen, I don't know what video it was, my second paranormal video in here, then you would have seen there was a part in the video where I literally saw like 100 of these like little tiny floating orb things that like freaked me out. But I'm pretty sure it's just my powder, I don't know. Every time I talk about, like, I do makeup in almost every video. Every time I talk about ghosts, I see these little orbs, and every time I don't talk about ghosts, I don't see orbs. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm talking about it, so I'm noticing it, and then when I'm not talking about it, I don't notice it. You let me know down in the comments. I think a lot of this might have to do with just, like, my brain. I don't know. Okay. Okay, so second story. Let's get into that. So, again, this was literally around the same time. I was 6, and apparently I just saw ghosts when I was 6. I don't know, didn't we all, though? And I told my mom, I was sitting, so in our house, same house, there was a, like, sliding glass doors. So you, like, walk in, there's our front room, our dining room, sliding glass doors, a backyard, and then to your right, if you're looking out to the backyard, was a kitchen. And it was, like, kind of like a bar stool, like, sitting area. It was open, though, so you could, like, see into the kitchen. And I just, like, my mom, I swear she's told me this story. So kind of a quick like background of the story. I swear that she told me the story. I swear. I've told people the story. I like remember the story. Like I just remember so clearly all throughout my like life. And I was talking to my mom about this and she was like, I definitely told you the story about your grandma, but I don't remember telling you the story. So it's like such a weird thing. So I'm like, okay, where did I get the story from? And it's, like, so, like, I literally remember her, like, being in the kitchen, and then me, like, I don't know, like, and not that I remember it because I was 6, and if I don't remember the other one, I probably don't remember this, but I remember her telling me it. Like, I remember her so clearly telling me that this happened, and I was like, okay. And basically, so the story that I remember her telling me is that I was standing in the dining room looking out the glass doors to our backyard. I don't know if our backyard is fenced in or not. I feel like it wasn't. But then it might have been, I don't know. And I was looking in our backyard, and we had like kind of a play set and stuff, because there was like 2 of us kids in the house. And my mom, and I think I was like looking at something, or I was looking at someone or something. And my mom came around, and she was like, hey, what are you looking at? And I was like, and I pointed, and I'm like, there's a man out there in our yard. And she's like, where? And I'm like, he's right there. I'm like, don't you see him? He has like a beard and stuff. And like long hair. And she's like, I don't, like, there's no one out there. And that's kind of like all I know of the story is like basically I saw this person, I'm like pointing like, hey, he's right there, like I just like, why is he in our yard? Like, that's so weird. And my mom's just looking at me, like looking outside, like there is no one out here, like there's no one here. And I remember that so vividly because like even though my parents aren't necessarily religious, like in Ohio and really America, I mean, a lot of people are Christian or believe in Christianity or at least know of Christianity, you know what I mean? So when I like said that, I always remember her like almost thinking like, Jesus, you know what I mean? Like, Jesus, is that you? Like, what is happening? But I don't know, it was such a weird thing, and I can't believe that just like the other day I was talking to her about this, and she was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't remember the story. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This has been like a huge story in my life that I always thought was like you told me the story, but also my mom does not always have the best memory, so like she could have told me the story and forgot. But how would she forget that? Like that's like, how would you forget your kid seeing a grown-ass man in the backyard and you didn't see it? Like, how do you forget that? I don't know. But she's forgotten other things, too, that, like, stories of, like, things we've told her, so I don't know. But maybe she was listening to us when we were kids. I don't know. I just thought that was, like, literally so crazy. And I don't think it was, like, Jesus or anything, but, I just always remember her kind of, like, maybe she didn't think that. Maybe I just thought that she might think that because, like, I don't know. Because, again, I, like, knew of Christianity and everything, and then as I got older, like, I ended up going to church and stuff, like my dad and everything, but I just kind of was like, I don't know. It's so weird. But it could have been like, I don't know. And nothing happened either. So like that could have almost been like a weird sign. Like if this is a horror movie, it'd be like the sign of like, oh, this kid saw this person, like something's gonna happen. Like nothing happened after that that I know of. Like I don't think anything happened after that, like necessarily. It was just strange. And it was more so strange the fact that she doesn't remember telling me that, but it was like this big, like literally the story about my grandma and me throwing the ball against the wall and the rocking chair moving, and the story of me seeing this man with like long hair and a beard in our yard and literally pointing to him while my mom was standing next to me, like he's right there, like I see him, and she's also looking and she's like, no one's there. And I'm like, maybe you just can't see him, because maybe how children can hear higher frequencies, they also can see on like different frequencies, you know what I mean? So maybe like we do have other people living, maybe not necessarily living, quote unquote, by our basics, or like by our basics, by our standards, but maybe they are like, their souls or whatever are living in a different realm, and children can see that because they can see higher frequencies, hear higher frequencies, and the older you get, the more dull your senses get, and I think that's how you would say that. I don't know. I just think it's all so fascinating. I love it so much. So interesting. So maybe that's what it was. So maybe it's just like a dead man, grown man that was just like his soul was outside living his best life, and I saw him, mom couldn't see him. Who knows? Or maybe this never happened. Maybe I read this somewhere and I just always thought it was me. But like how? How would that be a thing? Like, I swear she told me like both these stories together, and I'm like, and she's just like, I don't remember telling you the second story. And I'm like, how do you not remember telling me the story? Like, it just flabbergasted me, honestly. I don't know. Okay, we got our contour, we got all our stuff on here. Let's do our eyebrows and do some eyeshadow. And then I have one more story for you. I'm gonna tell you why I do my eyeshadow. This is a little bit different than the other two stories. This is a little bit more, I mean, I'm fine, so like it's fine, it's not like so serious, but it was a very scary, traumatic thing in my life, and it was really crazy, and I will tell you all about it once I get my eyebrows put together, girls and boys and theys and thems. Where's my shit? Here we are. Okay, so when I was 18, literally just turned 18, I've had my license and I've had a car since I was 16 years old. And when I was turned 18, I got into a pretty serious accident. I will put pictures in here because honestly, it's crazy. And like when people tell me that crazy things happen, I'm like, do you have pictures? Because I want to see. I got you with the pictures right here. You're gonna be like, whoa, fuck, shit, that's crazy. So I got a convertible when I was 16 years old. Super thankful, super grateful, super lucky, you know. And so I love this car. It was so nice. It was so cool. You know, she was great. She was a great ride, a great friend. Love her so much. Well, we were heading to class. It was actually a college class because I did post-secondary. So I did college classes during like high school. And I was heading to class and I was heading to a college. And it was a very like nasty day. And I remember the day so clearly. So like I got up and I was, you know, on time, everything was fine. I put on my favorite jeans. I was wearing my favorite jeans. I was wearing a pink shirt, maybe. I didn't wear a lot of black back then. I was wearing a pink shirt, and I was wearing my North Face coat. I have a black North Face coat. I actually still have that coat to this day. And so I was wearing that, and I think I was wearing like Nike Shox, whatever, that I bought with my first paycheck when I was 16. I was 18 this time, but I take really good care of stuff. I digress. I love these shoes. Anyway, so I'm driving there, and I'm on a like long stretch of road, but it all goes 55 miles an hour. Well, it was January. I literally just turned 18 like a week prior. Just turned 18. Because my birthday is January 11th, so it was like 7-8 days after the fact. And I am driving, and it is like slushy as shit out. Like it's like after it snowed, it's been kind of cleaned up, and it's just like slushy and gross. And I wasn't going very fast. I'm 18 years old. It just has been snowy, icy. I know black ice is a thing. I left in plenty of time so that if I could go slower, basically. and I was going probably 50 to 55 miles an hour. I mean, I wasn't going so slow or so fast. I was just going the speed limit, maybe a little bit under the speed limit, but nothing. I wasn't going like 50, or I wasn't going like 40 or 35 miles an hour. You know what I mean? Like, but I was going a little bit slower. Well, this big truck passed me because, you know, they're in a big truck and they're like, oh, I don't care, you know, because they have four-wheel drive, so of course ice won't bother them. Yeah, ice will still bother you. You have four-wheel drive to get through snow, not ice, you freaking. Anyway, and so this truck passes me, flies by me, throws all, because it's a big truck and I'm in just like a regular, it's like a 95 Chevy Cavalier car. I remember the date because it was 95 and I was born 95. We were born the same day. I met the same year. And so this guy, he like literally flies by me, like going so freaking fast. And he flew up all of this like black, brown, nasty snow slush up my windshield. And in my mind, he throws all, I can't see anything. So I'm slowing down, but I like don't know if there's a semi behind me. Like I literally do not know what's happening. And I'm just like freaking out. And so I'm slowing down. I go to pull over like off the road, but in my mind, I swear to God that I thought, which now today, now that I see like this area, there's actually not, I could have pulled over and been fine. But I really thought that if I pulled over, and I still had like some snow like the back of my windshield and stuff, so like really, I mean, nowadays I clean off every inch of my freaking car before I go anywhere, because I will not. But when I was 18, and I'm like, I always do this, it's fine. I cleaned off most of everything. Like a lot of people do that. I see people with like big hunks of snow on the top of their car. You know, people do this all the time. And I only cleaned off like my windshield and a little bit of everything else. So everything else was kind of like still a little covered. The front of my windshield is covered in this black, brown, dirty snow slush stuff. I can't get it off my windshield like fast enough or really even good enough because it's just so thick and disgusting. And I'm slowing down. I go to pull over, but in my head, I swear I remember that there's a huge like ditch right on the side of the road where like it's like I don't know if it's like runoff for like water, but it has like little pipes underneath like the driveways, and then there's like this big, I don't actually know what those are or what they're for, but I think it's just to catch water for like flooding and stuff. That's what I think it's what it's for. It's like a big drainage, but it's like a big ditch, and there is a big ditch, but it's like further down the road, and I thought it was right there because I don't map these freaking roads out. And so I am still driving, but like I'm slowing down. It's just this weird thing. It's all happening literally so fast. Like it's all happening so fast. And then all of a sudden I get it like cleared off enough, and I see there's a white car in front of me, and I vaguely remember seeing this white car, and I'm hitting my brakes, but I don't want to slam my brakes and like spin because it's literally icy out. And so I'm slowing down, and this car in front of me, I don't actually know what they're doing at this point, but I hit them, and my car spins, and eventually it stops. But while it's spinning, the only reason I even brought this up in this video, which now it's gonna be like my main talking point, is because while it was spinning, my other grandmother, my mom's mom, my previous stories, my first story was actually my dad's mom. I was always very close to both of them. She had this keychain, and I will take a picture of it and put it up here. She had this keychain, and it was off her like keys or whatever from like after like she had it, I don't know, the last like few years that she died. She just got it off like Avon or something. She loved ordering off Avon. And I took it, like, not that I stole it, but like after she passed away, like I took it. It's like something I just kind of wanted, because I always just remember her having that on like her keys and stuff. So I had that, and and also while the car was spinning, I just remember thinking of her. So like of anything in the world that I could think of, like the first thing I thought of was like my grandma for some reason. And then it stopped, like my car stopped, and I'm sitting there, and I've seen I watch all the Grey's Anatomy, I watch all the Law and Order, all the Criminal Minds, all the like cop shows and everything. So I already kind of know. I'm like, okay, it stops, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I could be in shock, I could be paralyzed right now, not even realize it. So I'm like, let me not just like jump up and like move around like people do on TV shows because they're freaking stupid. I'm like, I'm gonna move my fingers, and I move my fingers. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, I can move them. Are they broken? I don't know because I'm in shock. I know I am I was just in an accident. And I move my toes. I'm like, oh good, I can move my toes. I can feel that. And I kind of move my legs and everything, and I'm completely fine. And this story really gets crazier. Okay, this should have been its own thing, but here we are. So let me finish this other eyebrow, and then I'll get back to that. I'm stuck here on this eyebrow. Okay, those are done now. So I am checking all my phalanges here, means fingers, and my body parts, and just kind of making sure I'm okay. I don't know what just happened. All I know is I was driving on a road. A truck passed me. It's icy out. I saw a white car and then a bang, and I knew something was happening. Like, it was so crazy, and like it's so like kind of funny now to even think about, because I'm gonna tell you what all happened in this time period, and I had absolutely no idea. So I know that the car was spinning, and I covered my face. So the car was spinning, and like obviously like I couldn't like do it like the car was spinning. So I went like this, and I know I covered my face because I was like, well, I don't want any shrapnel in my eyes. Like I know I like. This is the one thing about watching so much TV. You know what? It's not that bad for you because you literally have prepared yourself for all these scenarios you more than likely won't be in, but when you are in them, you'll know what to do. So I was like, already my car was just spinning around, which is crazy. I'm like, how's my car spinning so much when I just hit this one vehicle? And then I was like thinking about my grandma, and for some reason she was just really in my mind, and I had a lot of stuff going through my head, and then finally the car stops. And I'm sitting there, moving my fingers around, looking around, and I don't notice it at first, but my airbag has went off. My glasses are nowhere to be found, because I've always wore glasses. I think they were in the back seat, but my glasses were not to be found. My convertible top flipped back. It was like back now. I was not back because it's like literally January. It was cold as hell. Like it was definitely latched. It was flipped back, and this kid who was driving this white car runs over to me, and he's like, hey, are you okay? Like, holy shit, this just happened. And I'm like, I think so. And I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, I think so. And he was like, and his nose was bleeding. And he was like, man, is my nose okay? And I was like, yeah, it looks fine to me. Definitely broken. Like, definitely broken. But I was like, yeah, I wouldn't touch it, but like, it looks fine. You know, like, go see a paramedic. I don't know. And, because I don't want to freak him out or anything. I was like, yeah, you look great. And so I get out of the car too, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this just happened. And I remember seeing, as I was like kind of just like looking at what just happened, my car is smashed up. So the right hand side, I was the driver, no one was with me. I had a book bag in the back because I was going to school, and my passenger side was like so smashed. And I didn't really notice it at first because I wasn't like expecting my car. I was just like, holy shit, this just happened. I'm 18 years old. And my first thought, which is so stupid, is, oh my god, my mom's gonna be so mad that I wrecked this car. And that's just how, like, you know, you're in shock, so you don't even think. And it's like, my mom does not give a shit about this car. She's just gonna hope that I'm okay. And this was such a big accident that, like, it literally blocked. And this is, like, it's not a main road, but it's a pretty main road because it's kind of like a back, like a 55-mile-an-hour back road to, like, many different places that are located near each other, if that makes sense. Like I said, I don't want to give away the area. It's fine. And so this lady comes over, nicest lady. She was like, hey, it's like cooled out. Do you want to set my car? Like, this is crazy. This just happened. She's like one of the first people like on the scene. And literally traffic is backed up on both sides of the road. Like, no one can get through. Ambulance were called, the whole 9 yards. And I'm sitting here like, what in the hell? Like, this was, like, I was in this accident. You know what I mean? Because, like, you see these accidents, you're like, wow, that's crazy. Hope everyone's okay. Like, I was in it, and I was just fine for the most part. And this kid was just fine. Like, he at least walked up to me, like, his nose was a little messed up. Might need, you know, some pushing back into place or something, some healing, but like he's mostly fine. And I remember seeing a semi on the side of the road, and I just kind of like, I was like in my head, I'm like, well, it's kind of weird that he was like parked over there to like sleep, you know. And I was like, okay, that's weird. And so I go and get in this lady's car. She's like, do you have anyone for me to call? And I'm like, no. I'm like, yeah, I do, but I just like, I'm just in so shock, and I'm just sitting here like, what is going on? And I'm like, oh yeah, I need to call my mom. And I called her, and I don't think she answered right away, so I called my stepdad instead, and I was like, hey, I'm okay, but, like, I was in this car accident, and I'm with this lady right now in her car, because my car is, like, and I started crying, because, like, if you know me, if you don't know me, I am a crier. Like, any heightened emotion in my entire life, I cry. I'm sad, I cry. I'm angry, I cry. Happy, I cry. Like, that's just my life. It's how I show my emotions is through tears, lots of tears. So I started like crying because this whole thing just happened to me, and I was like, and I also was just like, my parents, they don't really have like a ton of money, you know what I mean? Like they're like middle class, like most people in the world, and, or at least in America, I should say, not in the world, but like most people, like they're just like average. So I'm like, oh my god, like you guys got me this car, like it's been 2 or 3, I mean it's been like 2 years ago now, but still, and I felt so bad because I'm like, you guys got me this car, like that's so cool of you, and then I just like wrecked it. But obviously it's not like I was like I was literally heading to school, it's icy out, like it's not like I was out drinking and driving, like never do that. Like I thought I was a really good kid. And yeah, anyway, and so he's like, okay, well, let me get your mom, da-da-da. And he like calls my mom or goes down where she works, because she just works down the road from her house. And she's like, oh my god, and she's freaking out. And she calls me and she's like, are you okay? And she literally, because we all live in like a smaller town, or I used to live in a small town. And so news travels so fast. And this is like a main road to get to that town. So like it was like such a big thing, like people that saw it or whatever and turned back around, went back to town. And she was like, oh my god, I just heard about this wreck. And she was like freaking out. And then she drove to the scene. And by the time she got to the scene, the ambulance had taken me. Which, you know what? This is very annoying. I'm not an ambulance person. I get that there are like precautions for things. But I'm like sitting in this car. I walked over to this car. I get, I could be in shock. I could have a broken leg and not even realize because I have so much adrenaline. I get that. But I'm literally like, they come and they're like wanting to put me on a backboard, but I'm like sitting in someone's car, like with my stuff too. So for some reason I grabbed my book bag and everything. I was just like, I did end up finding my glasses, I think too. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't find those until we came back to the car. And this has turned into a whole story. This is where we're at. I'm gonna work on my eyeshadow. And so my mom, as she is getting to the accident, and my car, which I didn't realize at the time, looked like bloody hell. Like, it'll be over here. I'll put it up. It looks like literally hell. Like, if you saw this car, I mean, it's literally like one of those cars that people put up on like a thing like texting and driving. Like, this is something you show teenagers to scare them. Even though it's not even what was happening. Because they even checked my phone records because it turned into a whole situation. I'll get into that. And so my mom gets there, I've been taken to the ambulance, or I've been taken to the hospital. The ambulance people, I'm sitting in the freaking seat, and they're like, here, we need to put you on this backboard, but also you can't get up and move. And it's like, this still irks me to this day. I'm 26 years old. It's been like 8 years. I could have easily gotten up and just walked. I'm like, I kept telling, I'm like, I can walk. Like, I can walk, I'm fine. But I think it's because they saw the car and they just weren't sure. So they're like, better safe than sorry. Like, you know, we can't allow you just to get up and walk. I'm like, well, I walked over to this car and I'm sitting here just fine. Like, I'm more so distraught about what just happened and like the shock of it than I am. Like, I'm fine. And so they end up putting me on this backboard. It's so freaking awkward because they're like pulling as if I can't move. It's like, and they're like, please stay still, please stay still. I'm like, oh, it's so annoying. And they pull me over into this backboard, like all these men, and it's so freaking awkward and weird. And they put me in the back of this ambulance. So I'm heading to the hospital as my mom arrives, and she's like freaking out. And no, I don't think anyone was like giving her any answers. Like, she was like, well, where's my daughter? Like, what happened? Da 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 da. And like always took her to the hospital, and like she thinks. She hasn't talked to me yet. You know, she didn't call me. She hasn't talked to me yet because, like, by the time my stepdad got to her and told her, like, what happened, like, I think I was already in the back of the ambulance and I wasn't able to answer my phone or something. And I remember this, too, this guy, because, again, my family does not, I have a North Face jacket. That was a big, for me to get that jacket was, like, an ordeal. Like, it was a big deal for me. And he was like, had his scissors out and he was like, I gotta cut this coat off you. And I was like, sir? Oh, and I had an American Eagle hoodie on because I bought a lot of stuff myself because not the North Face coat, I got that for Christmas, but the American Eagle, I had pants and American Eagle hoodie on because it was cold out, and I bought this stuff. And he was like, here, I need to cut this off. And I was like, if you touch my North Face coat, I'm like, do not cut that off. I'm like, I can move. I'm like, even if I can't move, I'm pulling my broken arm out of this shit because you're not cutting. I don't have money like that. Like, stop it. So I literally am like, you're not doing that. You're not, like, don't touch my stuff. And he's like, okay, well, I have to at least cut your pants up so far so I can check out, like, your legs or something. I have to do something. And they were already pretty ripped up, which I still didn't want him cutting them. But, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But he did, and I was like, whatever, it's fine. But don't touch my freaking coat. I'm like, if you cut my North Face coat, you're gonna wish I died. I know that's so, like, stupid, but I was 18 years old, and that was just, like, one of my favorite things, and I was very upset about the situation, but it was fine in the end. So I got to the hospital, I got to the hospital. Oh, he wanted to give me an IV and stuff too. And I was like, no, 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 no. We're not putting no needles in me. We are not playing this game, honey. I'm like, I'm fine. Which, I mean, I did have a few, like, situations once I got to the hospital, but I was like, no, 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 no. He was like, okay, well, you need to sign this paper then saying that you decline. I'm like, decline everything. Like, don't fucking touch me. Like, just take me to the hospital and leave me alone. But he did cut my pants, which is fine. And so I was like not a great patient in the back of that ambulance. Sorry about it, ambulance drivers, people. I apologize. Sorry about it. And so I get to the hospital, and I honestly just feel like I'm just completely fine. So I get to the hospital, I'm taken back, of course, right away. Like, I'm coming in an ambulance from a car accident, da-da-da. The doctor comes in, my mom finally gets there, and she's crying, so then I start crying, like, my tears are just going, and she's crying, and she's like, oh my god, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, like, I'm literally fine. And then she's sitting there, and she's like, oh my god, my hair was caked with glass. Like, I didn't even realize it. My hair, like, my head actually was not, like, I didn't get, because I literally covered my face. Like, I literally was like, my car was spinning, and I was like, well, I can't do it with my hands. I'm gonna cover my face, because, like, fuck that, and, like, nothing's happening in my face. And, oh, just to go back real quick, this story is everywhere, I apologize, but if you see this, I have a skin tag in my eyeball. I was born with it, I've always had it, it's not really that big of an ordeal, I don't know why, it makes me, actually, my eyeliner going nicer, which is kind of nice, but, the lady in the car, she was like, oh my god, your eye, and that was like, I don't like doctors, needles, surgery, nothing, not for me. Like, I do everything I can to be safe so I don't have to ever deal with any of these situations. And she's like, oh my god, your eye, and I'm like, oh my god, like something, and I like, in my head, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm going through like shock, and I don't even notice what's happening, like, to my body right now, because of all the adrenaline, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to have surgery or something. So I put on her visor, because she likes, like, look at your eye, so I put on her visor, open the mirror, and I'm like, oh, I was born with that. And I was like so freaking, and she was like, oh, okay. I mean, but she didn't know. I've never met this lady before in my life. And so anyway, so I'm at the hospital, my mom gets there, she's picking glass out of my freaking hair, because there's just glass everywhere, because it did not hit my face, because I put my hands up. My hands did have little cuts and scratches on them from glass, but it wasn't anything crazy. I think it was just from, like, the windshield, like, glass just kind of flying back. And then the only thing that was, like, wrong with me, I was very, very lucky. My knees, which they're still sensitive to this day, they're a little bit less so now, like, every, like, year they get better, but they are still sensitive, and they were, like, I don't know, I'll put a picture here, I have fat knees too, so sorry about it, and they were, like, literally black and purple, and, like, bruised up, well, not right away, but they got worse and worse, but you could, like, they were really bruised, and I can't remember what it was some kind of, like, I can't remember, like, the medical terminology, but, like, I think there were, like, busted blood vessels underneath them or something like that happened, and my, they were just very stobed up, like, my legs were very stobed up. I, like, had kind of a hard time walking there for, like, probably a month afterward. Like, I could walk and still go to class and stuff, but I technically was supposed to be, like, on crutches just because, like, they were so just, like, messed up, I don't know. And then I would just have checkups, like, every few months, and it kind of all just healed by itself. It was fine. I was 18, so it was, like, not that big of an ordeal. But let me do some eyeshadow. It's really turned into something here. And then, ooh, I'll do pink. Oh yeah, so I'm in a bubblegum mood, I forgot. So we're gonna do some pink on our eyes. So they went through, and the doctor, like, checked everything out, made sure nothing was, like, broke, that nothing was out of place, or, like, any internal bleeding. I don't know how you would even check that, like, checked, like, my stomach and stuff, was just checking everything, and it looked fine. So after, like, a couple hours there, maybe less than that, I don't know, then we finally left, and then we had to go pick up my car. So we went and picked up my car. Oh, we didn't really pick it up, I just need to get some things out of it, because they were like, hey, you can, like, have this back, or we can just keep it. We were like, you can just keep it, because it's, like, literally a piece of crap. I mean, not that it was a piece of crap, it actually saved my life and protected me. And so we went and got my stuff out of it, and we took pictures of it, and we were like, that's when I realized how bad my car was when we went and to pick things up out of it, because I was in a better mindset and everything, and my mom was there, I was more comfortable. And we went and looked at it, and it was like, holy crap, like, it was smashed in on the one side, it was messed up, the tires were messed up, like, everything. Oh, and then back to the keychain. Sorry, this is very all over the place. So then my grandmother's keychain that I had, it was on my keys. I don't know exactly what it was. I think it was because my engine was, like, pushed in, and it was almost like there was, like, a really, really hot liquid that came out, like maybe the oil or something. And literally the part of my keychain for my grandma that it was like half of it was cut off, and there were like little things on the ground. And if it was like cut off, because it was just literally like a chain with like beads on it, it would have just fell off and been destroyed. And this is like one of those stupid things, like whatever. But it literally, like 2 of them fell off, I think, and then it was like literally singed on the bottom. Like literally singed. I'll put a picture here because it's downstairs. I don't want to go get it right now. It was literally singed from the heat of the car to like stop the rest of the beads from falling, and I still have it on my keychain today. And it's just like so crazy to me. Like that's like one of those like stupid things. Like I'm more happy obviously that I'm okay and that this person's okay and that everyone was fine from the accident. But it was just one of those little things I just kept thinking about like months and even years after the fact. It's like, it was just so weird because I even remember thinking of her, like of all the people I could think of while this happened. I was like, I thought about my grandma. And then I noticed, like, I think it was like even a couple weeks later, I noticed that it singed itself off. Because I just thought maybe, like, because I was fine. My keys obviously were like on kind of like my side of the car. And I was like, oh, everything's fine. But no, it actually singed itself. I'm like, that's so crazy. And that's what a lot of people were like, oh, your grandma was like protecting you and stuff. And I mean, I don't know if I like believe that, but it was just kind of like, I don't know, just kind of weird. The only reason I wanted to tell that part of that story was because I was talking about my grandma, and then it turned into this whole thing, and I was like, well, if I talk about that part, I need to explain the whole thing because it was a whole situation. So I hope you're enjoying this video. There's still more about this thing. Okay, so then once we go to my car, we take pictures of it. We're like, wow, that's so crazy, da-da-da. We got my stuff out of it, then we just like left it because it's at a junkyard, or not junkyard, it's at a place like Halls and Cars. I don't know what that is. And so they have it now. I'm like, okay, cool, you can have it, that's fine. It's like, poor old car, love you so much. Been through a lot, appreciate you. So then we have to go to a police department because then they have to be like, hey, what was the problem? Because they assumed that I was texting and driving. And I wasn't, because I don't text and drive because I watch a lot of TV. I don't text and drive. You see what happens to people on TV when they text and drive? I don't be doing that stuff. And so we get there and they're like, hey, what happened? And I kind of tell them like what happened. And basically, at the end of the day, they ended up saying, like, because the kid that was in the accident too was underage, he was like 16 or 17, and I was only 18 for like 7 days, whatever. And they ended up charging, like, not charging, I didn't get in trouble, but I had to like pay like money to, anyway. Basically, between the two, they basically said it was my fault, which I feel like we could have fought that because, like, that's ridiculous, but it is what it is. It already happened. It's been years ago, and, like, it doesn't do anything to my life now, you know what I mean? But then they were like, do you realize that a semi hit you? And I'm like, you know, now that you say that, I thought it was strange that a semi was sitting on the side of the road there. I was like, I had absolutely no idea that not only did I hit this kid, but I hit him, and then again, and he was making a U-turn. I would like to add that too. He was making a legal U-turn, and because he was making a U-turn, he couldn't make it, so he was backing up in my lane. I had slush crap on this, so that truck must have went through. I was going really slow because I was trying to stop, but I was afraid if I get over too much, I would go down in this thing. And also, I heard the story years ago where it's a real thing. If you get too close to a ditch and you go into it sideways or whatever, if there's water in there, you can drown. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to drown. Like, all of this was going through my 18-year-old head of like, what do I do? I couldn't see, whatever. I mean, what do you do? And so this kid was doing an illegal U-turn, and it's going down a hill, and so the truck passed me. He must have went, and then this kid was doing a U-turn. I was going slow because he threw this crap on my thing. I meant to just like basically stop, but then I was afraid someone would rear-end me. It was a whole thing. He is pulling back out because he can't make the U-turn. He's probably trying to hurry up because he sees me coming. And then he doesn't get going. He's still backing up. I hit him. I ricochet off him into the other lane. And a semi is coming down this freaking hill. Semis, as we know, per the song, cannot stop on a dime. I think that's the lyrics. So it hits me, and I am spinning. And luckily, I was in a 1995 Chevy Cavalier convertible, which is heavy as fuck on the bottom. It's like a heavy bitch. Like, it is made so it doesn't flip. So thank goodness for that. And so it didn't flip because it was a convertible. It's literally made to, like, withstand in case something like this happens. You don't just, like, flip and die. And yeah, so I was like, oh, cool. Didn't realize I got hit by a whole ass semi, which would explain why my car is so, like, messed up on the one side. I apologize for cussing this so much. It's just, like, how I talk. I need to calm down. But anyway, so literally so smashed on the one side. It was crazy. and that's why. So I ended up having to pay money to the semi company for like messing up there. I'm like, your thing was just fine. I bet you drove it home. My car is demolished. Like, screw you. I'm 18 years old. Start my life out in debt with the situation. Whatever. We got to pay it off. It's fine. It's good. It's Gucci. Whatever. I don't even talk like that. I don't know why I even said that. And so, yeah. So that was that whole story, basically. I think the kid was fine. It was stupid though. They were like, we're gonna charge. They didn't charge me with anything. They were just like, we're gonna kind of make it like your fault then, because if it was this kid's fault, he'll lose his license. But since you were 18, you won't lose your license, and it'll just be like, they just acted like nothing happened to me, but I had to pay this money back. It was a whole situation. Really, I should have fought it, but I was 18. I didn't know any better. I was going into college. Like, I had other things going on in my life. So the reason I told this whole story was because the whole thing with my grandma is like, it's like she was like watching out for me. I don't know, maybe she was, maybe she wasn't, but it was just strange. Like, in the midst of like feeling like I was gonna die, first person I thought of was my grandma, and then the whole like keychain singed itself from falling apart after a piece of it fell off, which maybe, I mean, again, that could have been coincidental, but I think about that a lot. And yeah, so it was pretty crazy. That was like, I've been in a few accidents, but that was like the worst accident I've ever been in. But like, I was fine. I've always been fine. I've never had anything happen to me. And I'm glad that kid was fine too, because I would have felt terrible if anything happened to anyone. And the truck driver was fine too. Like, he was in a big ass semi. Like I said, he probably drove that semi home. Like, he was completely fine. Like, my car did not do much at all, but whatever. It is what it is. Okay, I'm just gonna put some shimmery purple, because we love a good shimmer. I don't know, you guys let me know down in the comments what you think about my stories here, but I just wanted to share them. It's funny, I was gonna make that like that car accident video like a whole thing, which here, I mean, it was a whole thing, I just told you the whole thing, but I didn't plan on doing that today. But sometimes I just, you know, sometimes it just feels right. You just gotta go with it and talk your piece, give your stories, whatever you want to talk about, do it. So how are we liking this look? Sorry, I wasn't doing much while I was talking because I was really getting into it. I didn't want to get too distracted because this is distracting. Someone made a comment that like, oh, you do a really good job at like talking and doing this at the same time. And I appreciate that because it is a skill. And maybe it comes easier for others, but I get distracted very easily. And I lose my place very easily. As you can probably tell if you watch my videos, or maybe you think I do a good job. If you think I do a good job, I appreciate you. And even if you don't, I still appreciate you, but I am working on it. So here we are. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else in that story that I need to talk about or want to talk about. I don't know, but you know what's funny is literally, so not the class I was late for, but I was actually in school, the post-secondary school I was in is where I met my husband. So, cause he's only a few years older than me. And like I said, I was already 18, going on 19. Well, I just turned 18, but I was, another reason I did post-secondary is because I was held back when I was a kid, and then my birthday's in January, so like I started like the following year or whatever, I think. I don't know, but I was like 19 when I graduated high school, which maybe that's normal, maybe other people are too, but yeah, we met at that college, which is pretty cool. Love that. Just doing some dark purple here. So do you have any like horror stories that you would like to share? If you would, hit me up on Chelsie Wrath on Twitter. I would love to hear them, or Chelsie Wrath on Instagram, or leave down in the comments if you just want to like share with like the group. I think that like paranormal stories are so interesting, and they don't always have to be like spooky, scary. Like sometimes it's like literally just like your dead grandma's playing ball with you. You know what I mean? It's not always just like crazy, insane thing that happens. Sometimes it's just people you love and they come to you in a spiritual way, you know? Or right when you need them when you're in a car accident. I'm trying to think, I hope there wasn't any loose ends I forgot to fill in here. Because I talked about the keychain, I talked about the semi, how I saw it on the side, and then it actually turns out that I was actually hit by a semi. And we were all fine, which is insane. And I don't know, and then the fact that my movie and show watching whatever led me to know that I was in shock and my adrenaline was running and that I could be more hurt than I thought I was. So if you're ever in an accident, remember that. Like, just because you feel that you're fine, you could actually not be fine. So don't be like jumping up and da-da-da, like you don't know yet. I mean, I did get up and go into a different car, but I wasn't being like, I was still being careful and easy because I was like, I literally don't know if like I don't know what's happening. You've been really crazy. I'm obviously won't be making this video, but like, it'd been really crazy if it was like one of those things where like I got up out of my car and was looking around like, oh my gosh, but then like I was like dead, you know what I mean? And then, like I was like a ghost and I was like looking at these people and then I'm sitting there like still sitting in the car. I'm like, wait a minute, what just happened? But if that was the case, you wouldn't hear the story because I would be dead. So, you know, one day. This is looking cute as hell, girl. Sorry, I don't mean to be morbid. It's just literally my life. I'm a morbid person. We're gonna put some pink. I think I'm gonna do some pink and white underneath my eye. I like the white because it kind of lightens it up a bit. I don't know how to set it up, but my husband does IT, so that I'm pretty lucky there. But I kind of want to do like a video. This might be on my vlog lifestyle channel, and literally it's gonna be like a vlog lifestyle channel, but it's not like gonna be like, oh, what I eat in a day. Like, it's gonna be just like random shit I want to put up there, and maybe you like it, maybe you won't, I don't know. So of my 3 stories here, which one is the craziest? The one where my grandmother is playing ball with me in a room and rocking in a rocking chair. Dead grandma at that. The story about the bearded man in my yard that my mom swears she didn't tell me, but I swear she did because it was a big part of my like childhood, and the reason I really was into like horror and the paranormal and stuff is literally because of like these stories that she says never happened. Girl, or my car accident story where my grandma was like kind of on my mind. Like, I didn't see her, she was just like kind of on my mind while it was all happening. And then her keychain that I had with me was singed in the car accident so it wouldn't break everywhere by, I'm guessing, hot oil or something. I mean, it had to be some kind of hot liquid in there, so I'm not sure exactly what it was that did that. You tell me down in the comments, and be sure to like this video because I'd really appreciate it. I know this is kind of last minute. I really am trying to post on Fridays, but you know, sometimes life happens. Shit happens. No one's perfect, but I'm gonna stick to my Friday uploads. I'm not gonna be like, oh, because I missed 1 or 2. Well, I missed 1, because just because I missed 1 doesn't mean I'm gonna like just give up on it. Like, I'm still trying. All right, now we're gonna put all the pink blush on because we're a blush whore over here. I love this blush. It's this, what is this? I Heart Revolution, like, strawberry blush. And the middle of it is, like, real shimmery. And then the outside of it is, like, a regular, like, pink blush. And I love it. Now I take this and disperse it. Cute. You look like a fairy. So I'm going for is fairy vibes. Ooh. Now we're gonna do some highlighter. Literally the reason I told you the 3rd story was because I felt like I was going to get my stories done before my makeup, but it was such a story to tell that I got off track, or not that I got off track, but to stay on track, I didn't do my makeup while I was talking. So, you know, happens. But here we are, finishing it out. Just all the highlight, all the blush, all the purple and pink right now. And up here. And after this, I'm going to do some TikToks. If you don't follow me on TikTok, because I think they're fun, cute videos. Like, I love them. I think they're fun times. Sometimes I'll go on and just rewatch my TikToks because I think they're funny. Maybe that's like very, what's the word? I don't know. Self-absorbed of me. I don't know. This looks really cute. I like it. Oh, I can't do black lipstick. I just did black lipstick. I just actually did a look like this, honestly. Do a little bit of eyeliner. Nothing crazy. just a little bit. Oh, cute. I like this like little subtle wing. It's very cute. Now we're gonna try to do little and subtle on the other side, but sometimes sometimes it's hard to make these look like sisters, you know? I meant to film a TikTok throughout this whole video and I did not do it. Shit. That's okay. It's life of a TikToker, I guess. Do you ever just mean to do something while you're doing your makeup, but like it's already too late? I hate that. Okay, we're gonna throw in some mascara. And if you can hear that outside, I apologize. City workers, I think, are working on the road outside. I think they're working on water lines, actually. Lipstick? Last thing is lipstick. Guys, I don't know what color I want to use. Okay. So, if this was live, I have purple, pink, and blue. I feel like the purple looked the best, but I already did purple, like a purple look. Maybe I'll do pink and purple. I also have this. No, I want to keep it pink and purpley. I think I'm gonna do pink and purple and do like the middle out thing that I do. What's that called? An ombre. We'll do an ombre lip. We'll do that with pink and purple. I think I'm gonna do purple on the outside, pink on the inside. I feel like it looks better when you do the dark on the outside and the light on the inside. So let's do that and see how that looks. And if you were looking for foundation, Juvia's Place, it's like it was like $10. It's so good. Okay, now we're gonna do pink in the middle. I didn't leave as much room as I was hoping to leave in the middle for a pink, but it's okay. Okay, we're gonna add some gloss, and that will be all for this look. I hope you guys like it today. I think it was really cute. It was really fun. I'm gonna make some TikToks with it. Okay, so my phone storage was full. Literally why I bought a camera. So all the rest of my videos will hopefully be on that camera. I'm using it today to try to figure it out. You know, it's just like, it's a whole thing. So once I figure it out though, I'll have it figured out. Okay, let me know what was your favorite story of the 3 I told today. Let me know, just anything. Talk to me down in the comments. I love talking to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified every Friday when I post. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I have a Facebook page, TikTok, Chelsie Wrath. I'd really appreciate it. And so follow me there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you liked the look today. All right, see you guys. Peace out.